All right, it's so good to be with you tonight. Cisco Walker here, an evangelist here in Roswell, Alien Town, New Mexico. And I have my good friend here, Brother Ernie. He's a wonderful,
How y'all doing?
He's a wonderful individual. He works with the unhoused here in Roswell, New Mexico. And for my text today, I've got a really interesting text.
Okay.
It comes from Isaiah 1 and verse 17. And it says this. It says, "Learn to do good, seek justice, rebuke the oppressor, defend the fatherless, plead for the widow." And what we're going to be talking about tonight, sadly, but at the same time, it's very important, is murder in Roswell, New Mexico. And there's been a lot of things going on here within the small, sometimes some would say a small, sleepy little town here in Roswell, New Mexico. But there's some terrible things happening here, Brother Ernie. Could you elaborate on kind of what's been going on as it concerns murder here in Roswell, New Mexico?
Absolutely. So for our free-spirited individuals that live here in Travis County, that depend on the outside for them to get resources, and the resources that are small here, they've been being found murdered, and not just murdered, like brutally murdered. One man had strangulations on his neck. Another girl was murdered in which one was one of my friends. Her name was Deanna Taylor, murdered in Artesia in the park, and nobody's been found. Nobody's been found with these 4 men. And then one of my friends, they were looking for her nephew and her niece's brother.
Yes.
And they didn't want to call the cops because he had a warrant. They didn't want to go put a missing persons report. A whole month goes by, and they decide, oh, well, these murders have happened. Let's go look for him. Let's go make a report. They go make a report, and the police had the burnt body inside the morgue for a whole month and didn't even contact them. So they're devastated with that. And I could just imagine for these other families what they feel like. We feel like there's a serial killer. I mean, everybody's talking about it, but and I know that there's stuff being done behind lines. There's certain things like I can talk about, and then there's certain things I won't talk about. But the things that I think I'm going to talk about are the important things of what's happening with it. And there was a lot of good leads with all these little raids that have been going on. Each to their own. I don't sway which way or the other. I'm not lukewarm or anything like that. I know when I do wrong, and I feel like if they were doing wrong, then that's their own business. But if they got caught, they got caught. I've been caught. We've been caught. I've been caught before.
Yeah, I have. Sure.
We added up to the game. But again, like, nobody deserves to die in that way.
Yeah, and one thing we could do tonight too is we don't want to jeopardize any investigations or anything's going on, because like it's a really big deal for Roswell, and people have thrown around the word serial killer, and like just to a lot of people think, well, this stuff, it could never happen here. But you told me something a couple of weeks ago. You said, you said, Cisco, you don't really understand Roswell. You said these things are awful, these things are sad, they're tragic, they're horrible, but I've grown up here. I've seen, we talked about Blue Velvet, and one of the critiques and one of the strong points of Blue Velvet is it shows that underneath the veneer of a perfect small little town, there's ugliness. There's an underbelly of drugs and murder and rape and all these awful things. And you told me, you said you haven't grown up here. You said for us who have grown up here, this sadly isn't a big deal, but you also implied that with the help of the Holy Spirit and being a born-again Christian, that I would assume that your heart has become more sensitive to the reality of, well, it is a big deal because these people are dying, and they're actually throwing around the word serial killer. That's pretty scary.
That's pretty scary. When the FBI shows up with 2, and they show up at your doorstep here at the Cooling Center for Food Not Bombs Roswell, I'm upstairs getting ready for a drumming session we do a percussion line and drumming here on Sundays, after church at 1 from 1 to 2:30, and it's just one of those healing techniques of therapy. And I'm getting ready to go out there. I'm ready to play my Japanese drum, and my team comes up there. The feds are here, and I was like, "You're kidding."
Yeah.
I was all, "You're joking. The feds are here." I was all, "How many?" One. So I'm like, okay. So that takes up like 45 minutes of my time. But they pull out 4 pictures and they show me these individuals who have been posted all over Facebook, on KOAT, on every which way they can post it about it. And I remember I looked at these men and I couldn't tell who was who but one person. I recognized one person who had come through the cooling center. They asked if people came through here. And he was looking around and I was just like, he flashed me his badge, showed me he was the FBI, and I took his word at it. And then I was like, how can I help you? How can like what's going on? Like what happened to this guy? We know now. Now we know this is a real reality. But for me, like I said, like me, I grew up in the east side in Chiahuita, like where it happens all the time.
Yeah.
There was a guy, Tony Montana, that got killed. Tony Campos that got killed with a broomstick, and then it's just been going on since I was a kid. Lawrence Melendez got shot. These are men that I grew up with when I was a kid, and people that I looked up to. My dad got shot in front of the 1 cent convenience store on Garden when it was there, and this was in front of me, and so it's been happening since I was a kid. So not that I'm numb to it, but I just was going through life on life's terms from a kid all the way to adulthood. So
yes,
it didn't sink all in until later, until I carried the cross actually around Roswell, which was at the end of December. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. That's right. You did the Via Dolorosa.
And it came I remember I started calling out all the names. You're remembered. Hey, Lawrence, you're remembered. Sally Flores, you're remembered. All the people that I could remember. Cindy Baca, you're remembered. People that have died from drug overdoses or shooting or fatal car crashes and all these things. And I must have named about 100 people in my mind. And even the next day when I was continuing to walk the cross, I was passing over here by the country club, and after I got out of the relief route, and I was remembering a few more names that I'd forgotten. I felt so bad. My spirit convicted me, and I was like, what about these people? And I was passing by some horses, and these horses like bowed down to me. I did not know what to do. They stopped. They were running around in circles, and they stopped. They looked at me, and they got 1 foot and strained it. They bowed, and I got down on my knees and bowed back to them and said, thank you. I hope you're not bowing to me, but thank you for the honor to letting me, carry the cross. But again, like, it's real for me. Today, last year, I think it was 11 people that I know died that are close to me. Not just close to me, like my friends, my good friends, my family. And they've been just becoming fervently, and I am just like, I'm exhausted emotionally. So when the feds got here, I'm like, I don't have anything to give you from myself.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this individual was here. I was like, what's the problem? What's going on? What are y'all doing about this? Like, they're like, well, we just want to know if they come through the center. And I was like, I don't know what I'm allowed to tell you or not tell you. I want to protect my people who are here. I want to protect the city of Roswell. And we definitely don't want that serial killer to, that whole thing jumping out way more bigger than it is, but it is big. Who knows if there's more bodies out there? Who knows what's going on?
Well, I can tell you this real quick, just to interrupt. I can tell you this. It was a couple of weeks ago. We were driving around by the tree farm that's behind the Payne's packing plant, the old Payne's, right? And it's full of graffiti. It has that graffiti artist that put himself on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Shock. So but it's full of graffiti, and I've taken my kids in there to look at all the artwork.
Yeah, because it's great artwork.
Yeah, but we were driving around in that area, and I smelled death, and I was like, I hope that's a dog or a cat, and it became real for me because I was like, okay, they've already found 3 bodies. They found Kent Hoffman, they found Andrew Lujan Huerta, and Carl Afsprung. Yeah. And I was like, I was like, I hope that that's a dog, or I hope that that's a goat, and I hope that's not a person. So that's how real this has become.
It's real. Like my friend Deanna Taylor, they found her in the park in Artesia. Benjamin Corsi, who was working for Lifehouse, he just up and disappeared. We saw his missing person report from his friend from his friend on his over there in that area, and they're like, has anybody seen Benjamin? And within her posting that missing person report, 8 hours later, they found him.
Wow.
Like 30 minutes from Carlsbad, his car had been stripped down completely, and they found him a mile from his car, dead.
Yeah, that's awful.
And there's no explanation. They're like, it looks like a suicide. It could look like I don't want to say suicide. It looks like he could have taken his own life, but I just feel like he wasn't in that spot. Like something had to encourage him to go that way. And mind you, I'm a person in recovery, and I know these people, they may be on the streets, but not all of them are in recovery. Not all of them want recovery. Not all of them are seeking recovery, but not all of them are also on drugs either. They're just dealing with mental health issues, and we don't have the capacity so far. The city of Roswell gave the $3 million to Lifehouse, and they just barely got here.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be here in November last year. They barely got here, and we're trying to work hand in hand with them, and with the police, and with the feds, and with all the community services, hand in hand. And we even set out some rules and some guidelines. Thank you to Geneva for coming up with that. Martinez with many hands, because I'm just like, this is very scary, guys. I was like, what if they're targeting us? What if they're targeting the center, and we're here with the church, and there's a congregation here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's kids that play at this park over here.
Yeah.
There's frisbee golf that goes. You see all these people playing frisbee golf, like.
Yeah. Well, this is our Enchanted Hills is arguably the nicest park in the city. And I think you had some pushback when Presbyterian Church began to open up the doors to help the unhoused. There was people in the community, I'm sure, that were not for it. So how are we going to get beyond this question? How are we going to get beyond, and I know that you don't feel this way, I don't feel this way, but there's a lot of people that, they see, well, there's 3 homeless people that were murdered, and they just move on very quickly, and they have kind of like a who cares, like a good riddance type of attitude, because one of the dangerous things about these murders, with all people are valuable, right? All people are made in the image of God.
That's right.
But sadly, there are people that they might say that, but their actions disprove that. And so there's a lot of people probably here in the city of Roswell, they say, well, who cares? Good riddance, they're on dope. They didn't want to work, they were lazy, and so we don't have to see them anymore. We don't have to put taxpayer dollars on it anymore. It's sad, but people really believe and they see things that way. That's sad. So how are we ever going to be able to overcome that and break down those stigmas? Because Carl mattered, and every single person that has been murdered mattered, and every single person that is sitting in that cooling center right now, they matter. So, how are we going to move beyond the who cares, good riddance type mentality?
Well, I think we just have to be real. We have to be realists. It has to be real. This is not a cookie cutter. Like we said, this looks like a cookie cutter town from the outside. If you're driving through, it looks like the homeliest little place, going from South Main to North Main, and from west to east on 2nd. It looks like a little dream town.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
But it's hotter than hell.
It's all glamour.
Yeah.
It's glamour. It's been hot. It's been, and
and especially now, you go down Main Street, how did they get all the unhoused people off Main Street? Where's everybody gone?
Well, they've been here.
I know, but something happened. There was a shift in law enforcement. There was a shift in city politics or something, because it's a ghost town now, and a month ago it wasn't like that.
I feel like
I think what changed?
Let me say this: I'm a firm believer in the power of prayer, and prayer is where it really starts for the city of Roswell.
Okay.
And I prayed for 4 or 5 months with the first round of the warming center with every single one. I prayed the Lord's Prayer every night with them. I was like, I know you may not know it. I'll repeat it. We'll go through it. You can ask me about it. I was like, you don't have to believe like I believe, but let me pray this prayer for you guys, because this is what I believe and this is what keeps me well. I think that was the first step. And then when we closed, we're like, I don't know where you guys, the ones that were left, I don't know where you're going, what you're going to do, but just know we'll be back. We just got to take a break for a minute. And we opened up the cooling center, and it's a whole new crowd.
Yeah.
A whole new crowd. So that other crowd, there was 29 successful people with jobs, housing, and moving that, all the 4 parts, IDs and all that stuff that we offered free.
Yeah.
There was 29 complete successes. Now that's the full set. Now, was there more successes? Yeah, they just lacked one less than each one of them. So I also know that these individuals. It's hot.
Oh, it's awful.
It's awful. Since the summer has started, it's been awful.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I hope y'all are staying inside. I hope wherever y'all are cool. If y'all are in hondos, ditches, wherever y'all are, I say come to the cooling center. That's why we're here. If it's above 95 degrees, we don't go out. We're not serving on the street because we're paying for a building for you to have air conditioning, coolers, all this stuff, showers, cots and stuff like that. Come in. We're open from 12 to 8. So I feel like a lot of it right now, like what you saw right now, that was about 15 people. But all day, we're already on page 2, and there's 19 people that fit on each page. So we're on page 2, almost done with it. We're about to hit page 3.
Yeah,
so
that's
19,
good.
19. So it's happening. But a lot of them have went into rehab. A lot of them are really giving it a chance. I pushed that into their minds and helped them rewire it. But a lot of them, we don't know where they are. There's a list.
Yeah.
Geneva Martinez printed out a list on her with Helping Many Hands about these individuals who are missing. And it's like 25 people.
It's terrible.
And nobody knows where they are. Nobody's heard from them. They're like, they just up and left and it's like they're like vapor. They disappeared.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing tonight is we're trying to seek justice, right?
Yeah,
we're trying
absolutely.
to seek justice because, there's a lot of people, sadly, they say, well, who cares? Good riddance. There's people that think there's a serial killer out there. And I hate to say this, but I know from my own self, some of the evils of the human heart, and there are people that are probably glad that maybe these things are happening. Like, that's the kind of world that we live in if you don't have Christ living in your heart. And there are many church people that struggle with these concepts too. I'm not saying that they wish that people were dead, but one of the problems that we have here in Roswell, especially with these murders, is there are those here in this city who want to pretend that these awful things are just not happening. Mm-hmm. It's like, nope, not in my backyard. This isn't really happening. Is that a defense mechanism, or is that willful blindness?
I don't think it's willful blindness.
Yeah, okay.
It's willful blindness. Like, everybody in Roswell knows everybody. Everybody talks about everybody. Everybody knows each other. We all have conversations, whether I talk to you and you talk to your wife, or I talk to my partner, Jocelyn Smith, and like that, we've already created a whole nother network.
Yeah.
You see? And then they talk, and then it creates this big old web. But we're all connected here. So we know.
And that doggone Facebook, that thing is really connected. Like, that is 2026. Like, that is the modern day soap opera.
That is where it's
that
at.
Roswell Facebook. I mean, I know I work with guys and they live on that. They're always messing around with Roswell Facebook.
I love social media too. Don't get me wrong. I love social media, the whole works of it. But I also didn't get to have social media until I was older.
Yeah, but back to that point, like, there are those, they're pretending this isn't happening, but there's so many that live vicariously on. They try to live out other people's lives on Roswell Facebook. They know. The public knows about these murders. The public knows what's going on.
People know. They don't want to say it. Even my friend, her son, Jaden Bordeaux, he got shot, and he's 19. And this is just the other day. So now that brings the number up. We're like up to 7 deaths in a matter of like 3 weeks. And the McDonald's got shot up over there, and nobody was shot, but casual like injuries. Not casual injuries, but injured. Still, it's shootings. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, so where's our force? Where's our police system at? What's going on? I don't understand. I can't even jaywalk, and I'd get arrested.
Where's Eastloss? I tell you what, Eastloss is on Facebook.
I'm just like, but you know what? It's right. You're right. Like, they want to. It's like we're back in 1950s. Like, where they didn't talk about anything, they just swept it under the rug. We don't talk about that out in public.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't live in that age. Why are we still talking like that? Why do we gotta like go? Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go. We're gonna talk about it right here.
Ward Cleaver. Yeah.
Why is your son involved? Is your daughter involved? Who knows? They were asking me certain questions. The feds warned us and said, like, watch out for a white van, a green truck, and don't get into vehicles with someone offering drugs or alcohol. Because has been reported that somebody's picking these individuals up, and they're just being abandoned.
Yeah, Ernie, these are rumors, of course, but I've heard rumors too that this is kind of like a gang of like vicious thugs, like Clockwork Orange. Come out and play like underage.
I don't even think it's a thug.
Underage kids.
I think it could be that. Also, I think that if it's them, then they're not really thugs. They They have nothing to do. What
Yeah,
is there to
yeah,
do here
yeah.
for kids? Tell me, where do you take your kids to do stuff?
Well, they play baseball. They, it just depends.
Because you're involved, right?
Yeah, yeah. It just depends.
We have a big, unfortunately, we have a big society within here that don't have the mom and dad at home, and have the single parent who's out there working, so they're having one of their older kids watch all the kids, and it just becomes impossible.
Yeah.
That's the kid I was. That's the kid that I grew up as. And I went through my own trials and my own tribulations. But again, like, what do we have for children to do here? And again, if we're such the Bible thumping city that people say, like, oh, you Christians are all the same. I heard somebody say
Christtown.
Yeah.
CTR.
Somebody said the other day down there, they said, well, I had a bad experience with the church. And I was like, how about you have your own experience with the church then? Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you as a kid. Let me apologize for the past. But let's move past that and let's have your own experience with the church. You don't even have to have it here. Go to all of them and see which ones you like.
Yeah.
Then make a conclusive, decisive decision instead of just saying one thing about, I can't. Because as far as I know, this is still the only church who opened up their doors to us.
Yeah,
who let us in and support them.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions I have too. Because like what I wind up doing a lot of the time with these videos I'm wringing the neck of the church, like saying like, where is the church? Why aren't they involved? Why aren't they helping the poor?
They are.
But I know. But you have Harvest and you have community.
No. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is the people, the church, the real church.
Yeah,
besides the ones who are
individuals. Yeah,
the people that have come to our door that help us, like you've seen it.
Yeah, very nice.
They come.
Yeah,
and
very
I'm just
nice. Very nice.
And I like have to hold back a lot of tears for the individuals that come. I saw your Facebook post, I saw your video, or I seen that y'all are doing this. What can I help with? And I'm like, I never really, I get intimidated to ask for something from them because God has already given us so much. Mm-hmm. Rent, water, electricity, beds, food. You've seen the food down there. Like, it never runs out. Yeah. And we give food boxes away like crazy. But we do become short on things,
Yeah, well, from time to time. From time to time. So, Ernie, the unhoused, the displaced, the marginalized here within the city of Roswell, they're a community. Mm-hmm. And, I've listened to a lot of podcasts and a lot of commentators have wondered exactly what would happen if the unhoused or if the homeless ever got together and began to mobilize politically, like what they could do, what they could accomplish on one hand. But the unhoused are a community. And so, like, how do they feel about all of this? Because, you work with the unhoused day in, day out. You're a boots on the ground. You see people, like, I'm sure there's fear. I'm sure there's paranoia. How are the unhoused coping with this?
I think they're scared. Definitely, I hear it from them. They're like, "Hey, have they caught the individuals?" And I was like, "Why would you say individuals? Why? What makes you say that?"
Yeah, plurality.
Like, what's going on? There's something there that you're not telling me. Why would you say that? Okay, so ladies walk in pairs, men walk in pairs because it's men that are being attacked.
Yeah, well, there's gay serial killers too.
So I'm just like, any which way, everybody should be careful. Anyways, after any certain time, I heard from an evangelist one time, he's all like, what do you like about the big city, Ernie? And I was like, I like going out, I like having fun, kicking it with my friends, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. He was like, let me show you. So he made me step outside on the balcony of his place, and he's like, look. He's all, you see all them city lights out? There's nothing out there for you after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
He's all, you will get yourself into so much trouble. And I was like, that's not true, but it was true. Because I got myself in a whole world of trouble, along with 20 other people that I knew that were even, I looked up to, who I thought were better than me in certain aspects of their lives. But we got in the same amount of trouble. And then there's also friends we have that didn't get in trouble. So it was a web and flow. But the homeless community is scared. They don't know, 3 of them came early this morning. I don't open until 12. 3 of them were already at the door at 7 a.m. because they were sleeping over here at the bird sanctuary. Uh-huh. And I was like, you guys, if y'all have nowhere to sleep, please come. I only am open up for 5 more days at the most. I was but I will let you stay.
Yeah,
you're not going to kill us. You're not going to kill us, and I'd rather be indoors and safe. So now we lock the doors. The doors are locked at 8. You can't go in. You can't go out. You can go outside on the back part and smoke still with the fenced-in area. But even then, I'm like, be careful. Look at your surroundings. Make sure nobody's running and jumping over a fence and coming at you.
Yeah.
It's that fast it can happen.
Yeah, and it has happened that fast, and it's sad. And I was telling somebody that there was you know this individual. but we'll just say they are real people, but we'll use it figuratively. They were a power couple, okay? They were an unhoused power couple, right? And but I was explaining to somebody, I was explaining to a friend of mine, what happened, what the dynamic between this male and this female, who were the power couple, for the terminology, for the sake of the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I was explaining, well, the boyfriend, they put him in jail.
Oh.
And so now the girlfriend is out on her own. And I was explaining to my friend, and he's like, well, what's the big deal? I said, no, you don't understand. He takes care of her, and now he's gone. Now he's in jail, so now she's alone. So now she's got to fight off 10 creeps instead of just dealing with him. And
Right.
he could be Prince Valiant, but he could be a creep too.
Yep.
But for the ladies, it's better to put up with one creep because they'll keep the not so, Charles Manson used to say that, right? He said I had a heart for the kids, right? He goes because I understood that. He's also they wanted me to be the nice guy, so I'd be the nice guy, and I'd keep the other not so nice guys away from them. So that boyfriend can keep the other not so nice guys away from this girl. And so more than likely there are times when a young lady is out there on the streets where they pair up with a man or a boy because he'll keep the creeps away.
Right.
But when that person is put in jail or murdered or something else happens, you see, the public doesn't realize how bad the girls have it and how dangerous it is
really
for
dangerous.
the girls.
It is dangerous because we don't know what drugs are being given. We're hearing from Department of Health that all the meth is being laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl powder is out. There's purple fentanyl powder out there. I don't know what people are doing. I just know people.
Yeah.
They come high, and I'm not their judger.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I'm like, okay, so let me calm you down. Let's see if we can get you to a point to where we can do some work with you in this small little window that I have.
Yeah.
Do you want recovery? Do you want to go to detox? Do you want to get into somewhere that I can get you in? I can get you in the next 30 minutes. But if that window escapes at me, it becomes further and further and further.
And it may be longer and longer till they come in wanting.
I had a couple
help,
come just like 2 days ago, and they had a bed at Lifehouse, and it was a woman and her boyfriend, a girl and her man, young, 23, 22 maybe. He got caught beating her in front of all subs, face beating, and he went to jail, and she's scared of him, but she's back with him, and they showed up. They're like, we got to be at Lifehouse at 2 o'clock on Monday, so Monday comes. I'm like, what are y'all still doing here? Like, what's going on? Like, haven't you called Lifehouse? Oh, well, they were going to call us. So I get on the phone, I call them, Lifehouse answers, and then hangs up on me. I call back, I leave a message with my number, these individuals, and they call, finally somebody answers the phone when it's ringing, and I'm like, they're like, well, these individuals, they haven't done an intake or anything. I was like, then why did y'all tell them on Friday that y'all had a bed for them in Carlsbad? I don't understand. I was like, who said that? And they're like, oh, we don't know. I wasn't here working. I was like, well, y'all need to take notes with each other or something. And I was like, so I called somebody else that works on the boots on the ground team for them, and I said, hey, can you come in on Monday or Tuesday? On Tuesday, and help me with these individuals? And she's like, I'm gonna try. She's like, I don't think I work tomorrow, but I'll let them know. And I was like, okay, yeah, nothing. The girl is still here.
Yeah.
My team wants me to take her to the Roswell Refuge because now her man has taken her out of buildings forcefully and dragged her out, and nobody did anything. Although that's not gonna happen here. But again, like, why I should put her further away from him, and my team is right. Like, I'm seeing it now that they're right, but I also thought Lifehouse would be here today because that's what they're paid to do. They got the money to do that, but they're not doing that. And here we sit.
Yeah.
The boyfriend got so angry, he got irate with Jocelyn and me, and we had to ask him to leave.
Yeah, and here we sit, and these things are happening. There's 3 unsolved murders. Maybe more.
Maybe more.
And nobody knows. Everybody wants.
I mean, my friend Monica and them didn't even know that her nephew was in the morgue for a whole month.
That's why it's so important, that we learn to do good.
That's why that
and
scripture
seek
is
justice.
Important. I like that scripture that you read, but I think what goes hand in hand with it is Matthew 25:35, where it says, when I was hungry, when I was in jails and institution, when I was sick, when I was naked, when all of these, the least that you did unto me, you did unto the Lord. He tells them that. He's there. When did we do this to you, the Lord? Well, here they are. They're right here.
Yeah.
The unhoused.
Yeah, and
right in your face.
But the unhoused somehow have slipped through the cracks of that in most of the mindset, right? Or people have whitewashed that verse away, because you can make the Bible
About anything.
you can make the Bible stand for anything that you want it to stand for, but somehow the attitude and the hatred and
It's still there.
and the ignorance and the stigmas and the stereotypes that surround the unhoused. They're very strong and they're very alive, well, in here in Roswell. And I think the greatest thing that, like you said, that we can do is just to continue to pray for the city of Roswell. That's why these doors are open.
That's why.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. I didn't know where God was taking me for the past 3 years. I felt like I was in a lost whirlwind. And when I finally said yes to something that he asked me in my mind, and I was just like, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. And I did it. And on the 7th day when I was marching, like I said, I got the call. We got the call.
Well, that's how you know it's God. You know how you know it's God is because God wants you to do things, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that, God. I can't do that. I can't do it, and I don't want to do it. I'm always leery with people when they're like, God told me to go, and I packed up everything, and I just went. It's like, oh, you never fought that. You never wrestled with that. You never tried to run away from that. You never tried to do anything else but that. Because everybody that I know that is really called of God to do a great work, like they try everything they can to get away from it, right? Seriously,
for 3 years, I said no. I said I'm not doing that, and it's like this. Like God left me alone. He was like, all right, so your armor still needs some kinks, and you still need some mental work.
But it was still like the bush that wasn't consumed. It was still burning.
It was still burning.
Yeah, like a pilot.
I thought about it. It was in the back of my mind. I was like, man, did I miss my opportunity?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I should have just did it. I was like, when did you get scared, Ernie? Like, what were you scared of? I was telling yesterday, Lucy Salas, she's one of my girls that works with me. She's here with me all the time. I'm here 24 hours a day. I'm still here 24 hours a day. You can catch me here all the time. I don't answer my phone much. I do fewer videos than I did on the last round, but because I'm really working with people.
Yeah.
I'm working with people here. I'm working with people over here. I'm also doing outside things with other people, trying to get them all done. Like today, I helped somebody with their Social Security, which I haven't did a Social Security paper for somebody since my grandma passed.
Oh, it take a long time.
It was quick. It was quick. It took like 25 minutes total. And we went through it, and this guy didn't even know how to type. And I was like, I'll take my time and show him where the letters are, and let's caps lock it all. And I was like, you'll get it. I was all, don't be intimidated. This is easy. I was like, this is really easy.
And a lot of it's how you present it.
It was easy, and all of it went through perfect. And he got a confirmation. It was good. He was like, that's it. And I was like, that's it. I was like, now either they say yes or no, and you present some medical papers. I don't know how you get your disability or how SSI. I was all. That is brand new to me too, so we'll go from there.
But at least at least it's.
And they were asking me, they're like, hey, so what's going on with these murders? And I was like, what's going on with them is we're trying to solve them. Yeah. We want to know who's trying to take out the homeless, and are they coming for us? Are they watching us from somewhere where they know they're leaving from here? Because I recognize only one of those individuals, but I didn't realize that was Carl either. Carl, I know.
That sucked. I told you this. About 3 days before that happened, Carl had asked me for money, and for cigarettes or whatever. Because I knew Carl, my wife knew Carl, Jim Ridgway knew Carl. They knew him when he had a house, when he had it together, and so Carl.
And when he had it together, he was a good student.
He's a classical pianist.
Man, he was brilliant, right?
Yeah, and so he says, can you help me out with some money, because I'd see him, with my occupation and everything.
Yeah.
And so, I had some money for him, and I didn't see him for a few days, and I couldn't get to him. But the Holy Spirit was moving on me for some reason, and I'm not really quite sure why still even now. But I was able to see him, and I gave him some money. And I told him, go get some cigars, because he loved nicotine, and he walked away, and that was it. I never saw him again. And it's awful, because you know what? A lot of people, they didn't know Carl, and Carl was. We never had any problems with Carl.
We didn't. It was
terrible.
When I joined Food Not Bombs, I didn't have any problems with Carl. There was just him and another guy had words with each other, because they're grown men.
It just depended if he's drinking.
It just depended if
they're
hotheads that came from the services way back in that time, and so they were this was better than this or whatever, but it really wasn't that. It was just two type A personalities at the same moment, at the same time, talking about the same thing. And I'm like, you guys just need to separate.
Yeah.
I was like, don't make me get in the middle of you guys, because y'all are older now and I'm younger, and I joke around with them. You know, you've got to build that rapport with them. Because they didn't know who I was yet.
Yeah.
And so when I built that rapport with them, but I was super saddened by that. I was super saddened with my friends. I'm super saddened for my friends that have found their loved one dead, and for the other individuals, their families. We're still looking for Jesus. People, his sisters all over Facebook, and then who was it? Enrique's page reported that somebody had seen him, and then they like hung up on her, the disaster relief for the city of Roswell. And she was like, Ernie, I just can't get no confirmation. He won't call me back. He says, I'm just bugging him and all this stuff. And I was like, it's okay. I was like, there's been no confirmation of your brother anywhere. I was like, we went looking. I went looking. We went looking where he stays at Cahoon Park, right there under the bridge. Nothing.
Yeah, it's sad. And you know, we just continue to pray. And Ernie, if you ever find out anything about some kind of memorial for, or to raise awareness for like what's happening,
we will be having a memorial for the individuals that have passed away. Geneva Martinez with Many Hands, helping with Many Hands will be doing one at the end of the month. And she also, if you go to her page, Helping with Many Hands, or Geneva Martinez on Facebook, or her business page, Helping with Many Hands, there's a thing for suicide, or for fentanyl overdoses, or for drug overdoses, and you send the picture in, and she responds back, and they do it for you. And is
she an Narcan district? Does she do Narcan distribution?
We do Narcan here too.
Yeah, I have it. I have it right here in the bag.
All of us have Narcan.
I have
Narcan
the new one.
Will save people's lives like that.
I have the new one, the good one.
We have the new one too. We got trained in it. I've already been trained in it. I also, me and my sister Angela, we did the suicide with Jennifer. Suicide prevention and how to talk and how to walk that walk. I didn't necessarily know a lot of that stuff, and it was really good for me and my sister, and we just looked at each other and I was like, there's so much we said wrong and so many things. I thought back to where I could have used those, and I was like, wow, you know, you can change that. But also, like, if you know something, say something. It's like the things that we tell kids when they're younger. Hey, if somebody's touching you inappropriately, tell somebody.
Yeah, you have to,
if you have to keep a secret
up.
Because most people don't know. They're oblivious. This world is so fast on the internet, and what's in their hand, they want instant gratification of everything. And that's everywhere now. Even in little old small town Roswell, even in Dexter, Midway, everybody wants that fast, you know, that fastness. And I still think we're 10 years behind. But that's neither here nor there. I'd rather be young.
Well,
but again, tell somebody.
Well, Ernie,
it may not seem important, but it is important. And that one little small detail may be the key to unlocking what really is happening.
So as we wrap this up, Ernie, what can people do to get involved here with Food Not Bombs in the Cooling Center?
So if you want to get involved with us, you can come down, you can volunteer, you can go to our Facebook page, Food Not Bombs Roswell, Travis County. You can give butter, and you can donate to us, or you can come and donate on a monetary value. You can bring in whatever items. I don't say no to nothing, because I was going to in the beginning, but all the stuff that's been brought in, we've been able to push out into the community and give back. We don't keep anything. I'm not keeping nothing from nobody. I'm not pushing religion on you either. Like, if you want to come to church here, you can. I'm a member now, and I go to this church, so it's on Sunday at 9:30. Come and join us for church, and we're open at 12 to noon, Monday through Sunday, and come on down, take a visit, come take a tour around. We may be closing for a month, just depending on how my team feels and how tired we are. This round was a little bit easier, but it was a little bit rough too. So we love you, community of Roswell. I love all of you who have supported us, all of you who did your videos with us, and all of you who have come out and reached out. Thank you for the outreach and the love. I love you. Give us some hearts and some love. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, out.